Wonder what I got in the mail today. Got something pretty cool. I wonder what that says. Oh, is that a Ninja Gaiden logo? Wonder what it could be. Give me a second. Oh? Could it be? It is. It's the NECA RYU HAYABUSA figure from Ninja Gaiden 2. After all this time, I finally got my hands on one. Not that they're hard to get, it's just I didn't pull the trigger on getting one until recently. So this feels like an appropriate figure to start my action figure reviews. So let's get started. Okay, so first impressions. This box is fucking huge. Look at this damn thing. Why is the box so huge? Here's a Switch stand that I use typically when I'm at work. I'm actually at work right now. So this is about as high as it goes. If I flip it all the way. Look at that. The box is still like huge. Like what the hell? Ah, fuck. Gotta flip this over. Alright, well, according to the box, it has 32 points of articulation, comes with the dragon sword, the throwing daggers, which I think they mean kunais, an extra pair of hands, and it is for ages 17 and up, because, you know, Ninja Gaiden 2 was a M-rated game for the Xbox 360. They got some pretty cool promo shots here. They even use backgrounds from the game. Like that's the, I think the Italy level, where you fight the werewolf guys. That's just, kind of looks like the temple in the dragon temple in the first game. And then that looks more like the cover art with the battlefield of like dead ninjas and everything. It even has all of like Hayabusa's like fucking... So you see right here, it says that Hayabusa, or I guess the figure, is 10.5 inches. He's 5 feet, 10.5 inches. So we're gonna have to see how true to life that is in the comparison with the figure. And it says Hayabusa's male, 23 years old. I'm somehow older than him now. And born on June 15th. Yeah, so it has all his information here. It shows all the different joints too, which I actually like. I think this is pretty cool. The only thing I don't like are these little ball-looking joints, because I think that's one of the first times they tried it. But yeah, here's the crazy part. The guy who sent this to me on eBay, this guy got it from fucking Kinokuniya bookstores. I fucking go to Kinokuniya all the time. Also, this shit was originally $15. I had to pay like 50 bucks for it now. That's crazy. I love seeing labels like this because you get to see how much prices have changed. Visually, it looks fantastic. I think this is a perfect representation of RYU HAYABUSA. Visually, like I don't like the pinned shoulders because they look stupid. Like, pinned elbows and whatever, you don't really see them. And at least it demonstrates like how and also it demonstrates like how the joints are supposed to work. So if something's wrong, you can look at this, I guess. Again, like this is all going to be hard to film, so I'm gonna just take pictures later so you can take a better look. But we can start with the basics. So like I said, the head does look exactly like him. More or less. That's so much easier. Alright, I'm gonna have to just do it near the wall from now. So you can see his face. It's pretty... Hold on, I'm trying to get the angle. Pretty spot on, and I think the skin actually matches the way he looks in Ninja Gaiden, because the way now, like, his skin is really pale, I think in the newer games. But you can see it's pretty faithful to how he looks. They even sculpted all the detail on the... Come on. They even sculpted all the detail on his little helmet thing, which looks cool. But you can see his face and everything. You can tell it's him. Not like some kind of fake-looking Hayabusa or something. I do kind of wish that the head properly connected the back part of his like hood thingy to the neck, but I guess it's to help articulation, so it kind of has to break the illusion. And then we can talk about the dragon sword. Look at the detail. They fucking sculpted like the little rope details that they have on katanas. And even like painted it in metal, in like a metalish kind of gold. Like, look at that. That's an unnecessarily crazy amount of detail. They did it. Like, NECA, even now, I think has always been good at sculpting and paintwork. And even early on like this, like, damn, this is crazy. Now, hold on, we can take out the dragon sword for a second and I'll show you. So the even crazier thing is that the dragon sword can actually come out of the sheath. So you can actually see it right here. I'd say it's pretty accurate. Like, it looks like the dragon sword and everything. You know, obviously it's a toy, so not like perfect looking sword, and it's not sharp or anything, so don't worry about it. But it doesn't look like it's bending or anything. It's in the right shape and fits in the sword sheath. So I think that's fantastic. Look how satisfying it is to do this. Bam, put the sword back, just like the way Hayabusa would put his sword back. Although I guess you don't use two giant human fingers. As for his arms, I say again, the skin color is accurate. I don't really care for the pins on the shoulders. I think they look terrible. Especially this one with like this really weird looking shit right there. I don't remember him being so veiny in DOA 4 and Ninja Gaiden 2, but I'm gonna have to look at it. I'll take a picture for comparison's sake. And they got like the tan on his skin fairly right. Alright, I also forgot to talk about the scarf. The scarf looks really damn good. Also matches the same texturing that they have here on the thing, on the mask and on the upper body. This is glued on, so the front part doesn't come off. This does move, and it's made out of like this rubbery tire-like texture, I think. So it kind of reminds me of tires, but I don't know. I think it's really soft. And it's not like complete fabric, so you can't make make it in the shape you want, but I think simulating the scarf is perfectly done. And I do wish it was a bit taller so we could hide the neck, because it does make his neck look a little too tall, but it's fine. The other thing is the sheath for the dragon sword. You can tell, like, look at that. This is the whole thing. They even have the little belt strap thing that he puts on it. And it actually can move, but I think mine doesn't move. I don't know, I haven't been able to get that one to move, but there you go. Now for the actual rest of the upper body. They got his build, like, correct. Like, this is how his upper body is supposed to look. He's like a bit bulkier and thicker than he does in the other games. Like Ninja Gaiden 3, I feel like they didn't get his physique right. And in Sigma, I noticed they kept shrinking his arms for some reason. I guess because in Ninja Gaiden Black he had pythons, like tree trunk, like Resident Evil 5 Chris arms before Chris. So yeah, like you can like see like the chainmail details like on the suit, and then you can also see the leather and everything sticking out, and the shape of his pecs and everything. You can see the little belt straps. These don't move, but they stick out just like they do in the game. You can see all the belts connecting, keeping all the armor. It's crazy how much detail they put into this. Yeah, it's like all over. This is the only part that I think is completely fucking plain. It doesn't really match with this, but it's black on like a grayish black, so I guess it's not as noticeable, but it sticks out so much. And then look at the leg. Look at that. The detail, the straps, the separation of the outer part of the thigh and the inner part of the thigh, and even this little detail right here, which is also part of the suit. Like, if you want to see how how accurate this is, play either Dead or Alive 4 or Ninja Gaiden 2, which obviously this one is based on, and you'll see what I mean. Oh, this isn't the best leg to use. Oh, and even this leg has the little holes for the kunai, but the kunai didn't come with mine because mine is, I think, the official one. The bootlegs all have them, I think, but mine doesn't have it, unfortunately. So I can't recreate the Ninja Gaiden Black pose. But not Black, but the original Ninja Gaiden Xbox pose. You can even see that they have the kneecaps. And when you bend the knee properly... Oh, that's hard to do with one hand. It does a decent enough job trying to hide the joint even though it's really obvious. But it's there. It's better than having it stuck on the bottom or the top. So there's that. Ouch. And also, look at the leg detail on the shin guards and everything. And the tabi. Like, look, these move. These move a little bit. And then the straps here, the metal plating here, more plating. Even the back is like shaped. You can see like the back of the lower leg. It's perfectly shaped. And then kind of breaks the illusion when you see like this giant fucking like hinge on a little thing here. But for the most part, it doesn't look as ugly because you can see how great the foot looks. I think that looks pretty damn cool. And even has a little thing there so you can see the toes. Because, you know, some ninjas wear their fucking clothes. So I think, for the most part, the aesthetic works for him. That being said, this shit sticks out like a sore thumb. Do not like this. This part feels like an afterthought. Like they didn't really take that into account. They're just like, whatever. Like, yeah, that's pretty basic. And even like, I don't know, but it's crazy that even the back part has all that detail. That's insane. I forgot to talk about something else that's important. I'll talk about the tonfas, since it came with them. So they're also a bit hit or miss. So the tonfa on the right hand, like the right gripping hand, seems to hold them perfectly fine. There's no problem with that. But it's this hand that is like either too loose, too open. So when I put the tonfa through the hand, it gets really floppy and just turns around on its own. And then it causes like the whole figure to just fucking fall over. So that's unfortunate. But they're like amazingly sculpted. But the thing is that I feel like they're too... I don't know what the right word for it is, but they have like this sort of dry, rusty metal sort of feel to the plastic. And it does look really cool, but I don't know if that's accurate to the tonfa. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like a smoother, like sharp metallic thing. You can also see that it looks a bit off in some of the painting there. But, you know, chalk it up to human error or whatever. But I'd say it's fairly accurate, but the thing is that you would have to keep the tonfa. I would have to keep the tonfa only on the right hand, because the left hand can't grip it for shit. But hey, it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Anyway, back to the main part of the video. Alright, so scale-wise, how the hell does the Hayabusa scale up to other action figures? So I have the Figma Kasumi, which is around the right size. It's around the same size as a SH figure. It's Goku from Dragon Ball. So this is how it should. She's around like, I think, like the standard figure size. But look at this. They do not scale to each other at all. And if that doesn't look close enough, let me have her right next to Hayabusa. So you can see the NECA Hayabusa is a little too tall, so it doesn't really match up with how Kasumi looks, because Hayabusa and Kasumi are around not around the same height, but he's like a little bit taller than her. Because he's only like 5 foot something. But like Kasumi, she's not like dwarfed by Hayabusa's height. But like I don't know what's going on with this figure. For more scale purposes, even though these guys are completely out of scale, the old McFarlane Halo 3 figure of the Hayabusa armor. Clearly you can see that these guys aren't in scale at all. Hayabusa's way too tall, Kasumi's kind of in the middle, and the Hayabusa figure from Halo 3 is kind of fucking short. Like look at this guy, like he gets dwarfed by Hayabusa. And if you look at Dead or Alive 4, and you look at the Spartan towers over Hayabusa and like every other character in the game, so Hayabusa's definitely too tall. Spartan is too small because he's from a different figure line and for a different scale. And Kasumi's kind of the only one that is like normal height. So, I don't know, it's kind of all over the fucking place. So I'm not really sure what's going on. This figure came out in like 2009 to go with Halo 3. This one I think came around 2008. And then this one for some reason came out in like 2018 or way after DOA 5 came out. So it doesn't really make sense. Like, also it's hard to film these because this table is all black and then the background is white, but she's wearing black and he's wearing black. He's the only easy one because he's wearing green. He's mostly green, and lighting here is too harsh, but I can't do anything about that. So yeah, Hayabusa is completely out of scale, but now let's take a look at his articulation. Alright, so unfortunately my figure has a few problems, like this elbow, this shoulder is too loose, and it pops out slightly. Because you see how this one's supposed to look? It doesn't look like that. See, it pops out. Like, what is going on here? You can actually see the joint. Yeah, you're not really supposed to be able to see that, which is unfortunate. I don't know if it's just due to the figure's age, because it was in the plastic the entire time, or if it's broken. Something tells me something broke. Something tells me something broke just based on how this joint looks. Yeah, you can... It's a little hard to see, but... Oh my Jesus, fucking focus! You can see it. Like, there's a little thing there. I'm not sure what happened with the joint, but it became loose. It still functions, but it doesn't feel like it functions properly. Like, I think a part of it like broke or something, but I don't know. Supposedly this was fresh in the box, and you saw it was in the box. I had to tear the box open to get it out, but... And I know this isn't the bootleg, because it doesn't even come with the, the kunai. It doesn't come with the kunai. So, there's that. Also, mine has this problem. The fucking foot keeps coming off. Because this little thing here broke. Somehow. I guess because it was in the box for so fucking long. So this part is supposed to like loop around. It's supposed to like clip, I think, and loop around it. Kind of like some of those Gundam pieces, but nope. It broke. You can see right here, it broke. Right here. So I can keep the foot in a neutral position. That actually helps. Yeah, so you can see, like, I can't bend this hinge properly. I can do it forward, sort of, but then that happens. So I don't know how to fix this, unfortunately. Best I can do is just leave it in its neutral position, and then it won't fall over, like it just did right now. That sucks. So, fortunately, he has a bad ankle, but I'll show you how the actual ankle works. We'll start from the ankle. Alright, so we can start by showing you this. So here's how it's supposed to work. It goes like this. So it kind of leans back all the way. Then it leans forward a little bit, and that's kind of it. And then the ankle rocker is actually not bad. Kind of goes to the side like that. And to the other side about that much. So not too much, but I think good enough for posing. Fortunately, I can't do that with this one because it's too loose and it's broken. So, alright, now the leg. Okay, so this one has a. I don't know what's up with the right leg on this one, but the right leg has issues with this knee. The way this knee is supposed to work is that they both bend together, both sides of the joint. Just whatever, just ignore the foot. Both sides of the joint, so you're supposed to bend together like this. That's how it works. But half the time, it doesn't even do it properly, you see? It's supposed to go like that. But before, I was having so much trouble trying to get it to work, that it only bent from the top, so it looked more like this. But now I brute forced it and I kind of fixed it. So now, it bends like this. So that's good. Without having a foot on it, it fucking sucks, but you can see right here, same thing. This one's actually working properly. So you get this double jointed knee and that looks great. Could be better. I hate that these knees are always like really spacious, but I don't know how else you can design them. So there you go. Okay, so here's the part that really annoys me. The upper thigh. The sculpt on this is amazing, and it looks just like the way his armor looks in game. But here's the problem. This fucking weird ass like ball joint thing they got here. Like, what the hell? Like, it's supposed to be able to do like a split, but I don't know. You can kind of force it, I think, if you twist the leg. But then this one, half the time, I don't know how this joint is supposed to work. Like, is it when the ball part of it, you see the little knot, the joint, the little pins right here? Is it supposed to be like that? Is that how I get the splits? You see, look, the splits don't match. Now it kind of does, but sort of, but it doesn't look consistent. I don't know, it's a bit of a weird figure. Alright, so now we'll talk about the upper body. Yeah, and see, and the weird part about this is that, see, it has this hinge here, which clearly is for the side to side. But like, oh, wait, so here, I'll show you the front and back. So it goes forward about, oh god, I hate how this works. Let me put this back on. So it goes forward about this much. Oh, yeah, and that's another thing, like the weird ball joint thing makes his limbs a little loose. You can still hold it, but I don't know what's going on with this. I think it's just because it's so old. The figure's really old, and I guess it was in the box for a while. So it hasn't been, like, tweaked at all. So you can see right about here. Gotta hold it because it's a little loose. Yeah, so it goes about that far. Not bad. Also, this figure has a really weird smell. That Super Saiyan 3 Goku I had also has a really weird smell, but not the Kong one, I had a different one. You'll see what I'm talking about in the next video, probably, if I actually upload this. And then this one, this leg goes about here, and actually it's more sturdy, so you actually get this kick. It's pretty nice, isn't it? And it goes far back about this much. Oof, whatever, she fell. Goes back about this much. Can't do much because of the butt cheek, but still better than Dragon Ball butt cheeks. And same for this leg. If I can get it to fucking cooperate. About that much. It's not as bad as it could be. Again, it could be like Dragon Ball where it barely moves. Okay, so for me, the other kind of disappointing part is the arms. Like, I do like the elbow. This is actually, this foot just refuses to stay on. Oh, also, I forgot to point out. So it has these two, the two ball things here. Mine are actually kind of lopsided, so he can't actually stand up properly. So mine has to like limp like one leg. So he kind of has to stand like this, sort of, which looks weird. So he's kind of like handicapped or something. And I combine that with like the bad ankle, makes it hard for him to stand up. But oh well, I'll deal with it. I'll live with it. I can always get another one. They're not hard to come by. They're just hard to identify which one is the real one and which one isn't. But anyway, this one isn't. This is a genuine one, by the way. You can always tell because of the fingernails. The fingernails have like a more normal looking color, whereas the other one have like this really bright, ugly looking color. So as far as I know, this isn't a bootleg, but it very well could be, which is probably why the foot broke. But again, I'm not sure. But the eBay listing said it was authentic, so, and it wasn't from a Chinese seller, so I don't know. Yeah, you can see right here the fingernail thing that I'm talking about real quick. It's kind of hard to see in the lighting I have here, but it looks fairly normal. But anyway, let's go back to articulation. Alright, now for the upper body. Unfortunately, the upper body doesn't have the cool like cut here that a lot of like the Dragon Ball and other figures have, where you could turn it like side to side. So you can't do that. Like even the Halo figure can do that. Let me show you. See, like the Halo figure from McFarlane, it can not the best example, but it can kind of go side to side a little bit, and then can crunch forward barely, and then crunch back a hell of a fucking lot. Not sure why action figures are always able to crunch back but not forward. Oh, never mind. That's a bit better. Still, not the best example. Probably should have brought a better figure. Actually, Kasumi's actually a decent example. So she can lean like this. This is what I'm talking about. She can lean like this, side to side, because there's a ball joint in the middle, under where the titties are. So you can see it right here. So you can kind of go like this. But Hayabusa can't do that because it's using like an older, in my opinion, outdated system. Like the way Marvel, it's using the same system that Marvel uses, Hasbro has for Marvel Legends. So there's that. But yes, she can lean forward like that. Kinda, but then, you know, she gets this big gap. But I'm not reviewing her. Let me go back. Yeah, so the way his works is that it's more like it just has a standard like hinge mechanism right here. You see that? They even bothered to add extra plastic and paint the inside here to match the middle part of his torso. So he leans about that far, which is okay. Not the best. Okay. And then it moves back kind of far, but I think the dragon sword kind of gets in the way. Let me see. Yeah, about that far. That's okay. And then the only other thing you get is a waist weird, just honestly weird looking side twist. And you can see how it basically breaks the sculpt, because it's just the whole fucking upper body just turning around. So not much you can do about that. But I think it lets you turn it all the way around. Oh, it does. That's funny. That doesn't really make sense, but... So the arms are the other part that kind of disappoint me. Where... This one seems fine. It can go up about... horizontal. Around 90, I think. Oh, it's actually easier if I just... So I can go about horizontal, I think. That's kind of good. I kind of wish it could go a little bit higher. That's about as much as it goes. But then for some reason, since this one is loose, it can't do the same stuff. So I guess I give you a good and bad example of how these joints work. Actually, it goes about the same, but again, like, that's not supposed to look like that. I don't know why it's broken like that. So this one's more limited, so what you have to do is that you have to basically do this, but then it looks more fucked up. Because you can see the big whole little the thing right here, like, no. My only other problem is that, due to the fact it has no butterfly joint, can't really bring the arms forward. There's no real way to bring the arms forward, so posing is really limited. Like, and it's kind of having a hard time, like, posing it so that he can hold the sword, like, out of the sheath. But, like, you could theoretically figure out how to do that, but I'm not willing to break it. Like, the Dragon Ball Trunks figure I have is able to actually do that because you can bend the arm back like this and then have the hand actually fit into the handle of the sword. But, can't really, I guess you can't really do it with this one. I think you could, but I haven't tried. Yeah, and then for this arm, but yeah, it does the full rotation. Oh, there it is. Okay, well now we get a better look at it. It's just like this curved joint thing that connects to the that little circular, that roundish thing right there. Again, this is also similar to like other Gundams and stuff I've had to build. So it's kind of like that. Yeah, there's that. So this is apparently how that joint works. Now I know what the problem is. Can I fix it though? I have no idea. I'm gonna try and put it back in. Yeah, it's just broken, kinda. It's unfortunate, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, this stupid thing comes off. Okay, now let's talk about the hands and the elbow. So I showed you the elbow is double jointed. It can actually bend kind of far. Slightly better than 90, so that's okay. The hands are on a horizontal hinge, so it doesn't curve this way. It doesn't go this way. It goes this way. Yeah, so it goes like this essentially. Yeah, so you see how that curves like that? It goes like that instead of like that. It goes this way, so that's kind of disappointing. So holding the sword does make it look a little bit natural, because normally your hand would tilt to the side when you're holding something a bit heavy or some kind of weapon. So it does that, and it leans back a bit far, so kind of like that. Not bad, I guess. And we can turn it around. It's kind of basic hand. And then this one has like a more ninjutsu / ninpo kind of hand. This one's easier to pose though. See? There's that. That's actually pretty good looking. I just wish it would go vertically. But you know, it won't do that. Yeah, and since there's no butterfly joint, the arms don't go forward. And I can show you what I mean by that. So, Sumi figure, even though it doesn't really have a butterfly joint, is able to somewhat bring the arms over due to how this shoulder joint is able to work. So you see, you can get her to like cross arms, sort of. Again, not the best figure example, I should have brought something else, but I only brought the ones that relate to this character somewhat. So you can kind of get her to do this due to the way the Figma joints are made, where it's like a peg into a hinge ball joint thing and connects to the other thing here. That's how hers works. Hayabusa's is really weird and doesn't do that. So you would think that you'd be able to curve this part so that the arms could go inward into his chest, but no, it doesn't do that. It only goes outward like that, and then it only goes up instead of side. See, like, it's supposed to hide the joint. It's supposed to hide that really obvious, like, hole. You're not supposed to be able to see that because it's supposed to look more seamless. But this one's broken, so... Yeah, see, it's supposed to be more like that. But I have no idea what the hell's up with the arm. It's just kind of janky and broken. Yeah, so the elbows, hands, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, you can also go all the way back like that if you want him to do a fucking Naruto run, I guess. You can do that stupid shit. Okay, so now let's talk about the face. I'd argue the face is pretty important on a figure. It's probably one of the first things you should get right. And again, this is going to look really difficult to film in the lighting. You can actually see that they actually gave him his eyebrows and actually gave him eyes. Like, they didn't just half-ass it, they actually gave him eyes and everything. And you can see the detail on the mask here. It actually looks like fabric. My only minor gripe is that I wish it was covering a bit more of the side of his face because it doesn't look exactly like how it does in game. It's either this is too far out or it's not inward enough, and I don't really think you can do that. And this is a soft rubbery thing, so sometimes it looks warped, I think, when you put it in the box. And see this here too. Anyway, so the head can go up and the neck can go up, so that looks kind of good. Go down. Scarf doesn't get too much in the way. And then side to side, very subtle, not too much. Don't stress it too much. Yeah, very subtle, but you know, you can make it work in tandem with the neck, so you can get like a more nuanced sort of pose. Yeah, so you can get something more nuanced like that, so he looks like he's staring down his opponent. You can also turn it all the way to the side. Not sure why you would need that. In terms of accuracy, I think it's really good. It's just, again, I wish it covered a little bit more of the face. And I guess the shape of his face, like sometimes it looks like him, sometimes it looks a bit off. So it's kind of your preference. Like, I think they got this part right, although this looks a little flat. I think it's supposed to stick out a bit more to match this, but they essentially got his outfit right. Alright, so overall, what do I think about the Hayabusa figure? I might give it like a... I'm gonna be brutally honest. He gets a 7.5. Because there's some weird QC issues I have on mine specifically, and I'm just reviewing how I got it on the box. You know, when you buy an action figure, you're not expecting it to fucking fall apart on you. You kind of want it to work, but you know, considering that this is a figure from over like 10 years ago, like well over 10 years ago, and they don't make this anymore, so you can't really expect them to fix it. And it's from not a Japanese company, so I'm not really gonna fault them for that. American companies can't make good figures. Just look at like currently, just look at Jada Toys and NECA, they make good figures. Oh, you see what happens with that bad ankle? Can't fucking stand up. I feel like I made the ankle even worse. Alright, so overall, do I think the RYU Hayabusa figure sucks ass? Hell no. I think it's really awesome. And why would you not want RYU Hayabusa? Again, 7.5 out of 10. I think it's pretty good. Could be a lot better, and I think if they made a modern one, if they made it look more exactly like this and gave it better looking arms and gave it proper shoulder joints give actual butterfly joints so he can actually move his arms, and give him the side, like the ball joint type of upper body articulation instead of the fucking outdated hinge, and then gave him the proper looking diaper thing like the way Bandai does it. If he was like the Spider-Man figure, the Japanese Spider-Man figure, then I'd say he'd be a 10 out of 10 figure. But right now, this one is a 7.5, and that's it for now.